start looking at the second topic for paper 1, looking at movement analysis and looking at lever systems. So this is hopefully what you'll all be able to look at and know by the end of the lesson, or this end of this short revision video. So what are levers? Our bones act as levers and force is provided by our muscles. Levers consist of 3 components, so I want you to look at the components below on the left, so fulcrum, effort and load, and match them to the descriptions on the right. So see if you can remember which goes with which. You can pause it and then on the next slide I'll go through the answers. So here you go, the load is the weight or the resistance, the effort is the point where force is applied, and fulcrum is the pivot. So that was them in the random order, and this is them in the correct order. So in the body, the term lever means a system of muscles and bones working together to help you move. So levers in normal life, a lever is something that you use to move something, and it's the same in the body. Levers are what move the body, and it's a system of muscles and bones. So how are we able to walk? Well, using the body's lever system of muscles and bones make us able to walk. When we exercise or we move, our muscles pull on our bones and the bones create movement because they're acting as levers. So the muscles pull on the bones in the skeleton and this creates movement, and therefore they're acting as levers. So how do levers work? A lever is a rigid bone that rotates around an axis, so moves around an axis. Every lever has 3 separate components. So a lever system has 3 separate components that we looked at earlier. Fulcrum, your joint. Load, what you want to move, the weight or body part or body weight. The effort, which is the muscles. So the joint might be your elbow. The load might be a dumbbell, and the effort is a muscle, so it could be the bicep. So fulcrum, also known as the pivot, where the lever moves or rotates. The load, the force applied by the lever system, and effort, the force that is applied. So this is a breakdown. The fulcrum is your joint, load is what you want to move, and effort is supplied by the muscles. So they're the 3 things to remember. So you can see there's an example down below, and this is of a bicep curl. So where do you think the fulcrum, load and effort is? I just kind of went through it in the last slide, so maybe you remember. Have a quick pause, see if you can identify it correctly. Right, we'll move on. Sorry, I live next to the loudest road in the world. We'll move on and look at what the answer is. Oh, no we won't. I'll go through it here. So the ball is representing a weight in the person's hand. This is the load, that's what they want to move. They want to move this up and down to do a bicep curl. The fulcrum is the joint. We can see here the joint is the elbow joint here, and then the effort is the muscles. So this muscle here is our bicep, which is our bicep. So let's go on to present. So you can see, so we've identified the load, fulcrum and effort. So that's how the levers work. They work in unison. The fulcrum allows rotation or movement. The effort, well, that creates the effort, the energy essentially to move something, and then the load will move. So that's how the lever system works. So we've had a look at that, and here are some other examples. So can you identify in these 3 where the fulcrum, load and effort are? Pause it, have a go. Once you've had a go, replay the video, restart the video from this point and I'll go through them. So calf raise. Hopefully you can see The joint where the movement is taking place is in the bottom of the ball of the foot. The bones in the ball of the foot here. We can see the effort would be through the calf muscles here, the gastrocnemius, and then the load is the body weight, which is obviously with gravity will be around here. So you have your fulcrum here, your loads here, your body weight, and then your effort is in the calf muscles. If we look at the seesaw, where is the movement being allowed to take place? So here, the middle of the seesaw is where the fulcrum is, where the movement's being allowed to take place. The load, what is here? And then the effort would be the body weight of the person forcing the load up into the air. So if this boy was heavier and was further down, he would become the effort and the girl would become the load. And then with the wheelbarrow, can you see where the movement is being allowed to take place? It's in the wheel here. We know our load is all the bricks and our effort is coming from the arms lifting it. So hopefully you got those, and then in the next video we'll break it down and look even more in depth into the systems and how to apply it in the exam. So well done. There we go. You can see them all being, you can see it was annotated on here. Like we discussed. Right, well done guys. See you in the next video.